Hello everybody, WaffleTime here. NPCs are arguably integral parts of any Terraria playthrough. However, depending on the lens that you look at your NPCs through, they can certainly make your day brighter, or make you want to turn them into furniture on a day-to-day basis. For example, what fate does this traveling merchant deserve? If you're anything like me, asphyxiation by silt would certainly be the answer. However, if you're someone who cherishes decorating your world, perhaps he'd be spared. Certainly, each NPC has their own pros and cons to sort through, and it all depends on how you look at it from a grand perspective. But when you look at the NPCs through the lens of what they have to offer to prevent a legless eldritch moon squid from exploding you with the weight of several planet-sized eyeballs, it must feel as if they're good for absolutely nothing. Certainly, without a doubt, in our single-celled gamer hive mind, using weapons the NPCs have to offer to progress in Terraria would be nothing short of morally and physically degrading. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm here to answer your year-long question. Can you beat Master Mode Terraria with only NPC weapons? Or will you throw 12 shurikens, die in 2 hits, and fold your monitor in half in an uncontrollable fit of rage? Before we jump in, we must first discuss the gamer ground rules. I'm allowed to use weapons the NPCs sell, as well as the weapons they drop upon their demise. To make this even more of a hair-yanking, treacherous experience, I've excluded both the traveling merchant as well as the arms dealer, so we won't be able to utilize them for weapons in our early 20s baldness-inducing adventure. I also want to make it clear that I will not be spawning in with an NPC weapon, but we'll try and get one as soon as possible. Then as soon as I have one, it's nothing but NPC weapons from that moment forth. I'll also be using a few quality of life mods simply for convenience, which I'll put down in the description if you're interested. Let's jump right in, shall we? We start off our epic gamer NPC weapons only escapade by doing one thing and one thing only: full deforestation. With all these dumb trees out of the way, imagine how many parking lots we can fit here that we can charge people to park in. And better yet, imagine all of the lifeless tract housing we could fit here. The next thing we do is set ourselves up an epic base, a waffle wood workshop, so to speak, which, as you may be able to see, is a building marvel, without a shade of doubt in my mind, revolutionizing the building aspect of all Terraria videos. Speaking of godless Call of the Void housing units, we soon after make that beautiful yet cheap tract housing to charge outrageously high rent to everyone except the Dryad. It's next to freeway access. Why would our tenants complain? We have no time to listen to our ungrateful tenants complain about bugs or dilapidated stucco, however, because not only do we not care about their gripes, epic landlord style, but we have exploration to do and NPCs to move in to truly get this playthrough started. Our first subject is the merchant, who is senile enough to say the most outlandish, jaw-dropping shit you've ever heard in your entire life in the midst of a family Thanksgiving dinner, but will also be the one to sell us our first weapons: shurikens. Now, of course, we can get shurikens from pots, but if we want quick access at all times and the ability to not stress constantly about running out of our only means of defense against booty-tickling cave monsters, we'll certainly need his aid. We immediately stumble upon a chest which includes climbing claws, as well as shurikens. Very nice, Bateman. We adventure further to hopefully get enough silver to move his old decrepit ass in. We're off to a great start, then are immediately forced to go through full digestion of a poison dart which flew directly into our esophagus, evaporating us in a single hit. Wonderful. What a wonderful way to start any and all playthroughs. Poison dart mukbangs. Now that we're back at spawn, we expand our waffle wood workshop quite a bit, making it have a cool shape so we feel slightly less emasculated about what happened earlier. Then immediately dive headfirst back into the mines to pick up where we left off. We go to the right this time and are immediately confronted by the Savage Slime Syndicate, who attempt to turn our pockets inside out. But unfortunately for them, due to our heroic endeavors to be the first man to swallow a dart earlier, we have nothing but chewed gum, a paperclip, and crumbs to offer them. It's in the middle of this great battle that the Dye Trader moves in, which may just be a saving grace for us once we have the means of wiping him off the face of the earth, as the Dye Trader has a 12.5% chance of dropping his exotic scimitar. This would be extraordinary on multiple accords, as not only would we have our first weapon, but we would also not have to use a copper short sword to defend ourselves anymore, because as you may be able to tell, using a copper short sword on quite literally any enemy in Master Mode Terraria is similar to fighting a fucking megalodon with a plastic spoon. We continue our cave adventure, mining all the ores we could find along the way. The equation is simple: more armor equals less deaths. Less deaths equals less future therapy sessions I'm required to go to. Less therapy sessions equals less crippling debt. And less crippling debt means more money for fulfilling things in life, like gambling and riding a motorcycle really loud through a residential at 3 in the morning. Fucking great! We go back down. It's just, you just know it's gonna be one of those playthroughs. You just know, by the start, you just know it's... Rather than going back down and having a cave bat insert itself into our eye sockets again, we instead decide to take some time for ourselves by lightly furnishing our waffle wood workshop, placing down a furnace and an anvil for our future crafting needs. It's just about here where we decide, you know what? I shouldn't be the only one suffering, and choose to take it out on those around us, as any mentally healthy person should. We build a slaughterhouse for our first NPC that we'd be gruesomely dissecting for their loot, which happened to be the Die Trader. On the bright side, you can't spell manslaughter without man's laughter. Isn't the world beautiful? We're gonna get our hands on that scimitar one way or another. Luckily, we stumbled across some lava while a bat was ensuring we had super rabies, so we haul serious ass down to the lava pile and collect a bucket full of love. While we're down here though, we collect some ores and find our first life crystal, which is steamy and creamy beyond measure. We collect as many ores as we can, hit the freeway, and get in a head-on collision with a yellow slime who was driving the wrong direction and listening to Freebird at max volume. It's no matter, however, since now that we're back home, we can effectively roast our NPCs to a crisp for our own financial gain. Our first haul proves fruitless, which is certainly no problem, as we've set up our NPC farm to be in auto mode. The NPCs will spawn right back into the cooking chamber and fall to their demise until we get the item we desire. While the Die Trader wonders what he might have done in a past life to endure this hell eternally, we upgrade our waffle wood workshop to have walls, as well as more chests for a delectable form of storage. Isn't it beautiful? Certainly a building marvel, unique, fresh, and innovative beyond measure. We also make a silver pickaxe while we're at it, so we mine faster than 1 single mile per hour. Suddenly, before we know it, another saving grace moves into our town of NPC demise. The Merchant. Now we'll at least have a weapon while we're waiting for the other NPCs to take enough lava baths to drop our true weapons. We, of course, purchase as many shurikens as we possibly can, then immediately set off to do more exploring for more accessories. A guide to plant fiber cordage. Wow. Seems to me that RNG is simply envious of the fact that we stack paper to the ceiling and write on 24-inch chrome. We continue working our way to the left and find an ice cave, and a chest which included an ice blade, which is fantastic because now we can imagine ourselves using it despite being jailed behind the clutches of this wretched challenge of a playthrough. Luckily, however, we find ourselves another life crystal, as well as a cloud in a bottle which, fuck me to tears, is actually useful to us. We keep adventuring, collecting ores, and collecting piranhas in our urethras after skinny dipping in waist-deep water. A quick run by our NPC slaughterhouse shows that we have not in fact yielded the weapon we desire, but no worries, no issue here. So long as the NPCs keep roasting, we'll get exactly what we want eventually. We head back down on our eternal Sisyphus tier conquest to get more loot, and wind up finding a mace, as well as a beautiful, beautiful set of original unscathed Hermes 1s, which are sold at a markup of 450% online just because of their brand name. We get a staggering amount of life crystals, which is phenomenal. The possibilities of where we can venture now are endless. That's right, while you were all over there twiddling your man or woman balls worried about No Nut November every year, I jerk off my mind every day and ejaculate ideas. Ideas such as adventuring more and risking the sanctity of my well-being. To be clear, we're after better accessories, gear, and more life crystals to max out our health as soon as humanly possible. We instead find an ice boomerang, so we smoke the WaffleTime pack and go non-verbal in front of the NPCs, causing them to worry and freak out a little bit in silence. We find a great amount of ores, an unreal snowball cannon which crushes my soul entirely as we can't use it, as well as many gems we could potentially use down the road to make a much needed hook. As soon as we're back at the Wafflewood workshop, we see that the Die Trader has still not learned his lesson and hasn't given us our loot. It's only a matter of time though, so to fill in the blanks, we make ourselves a platinum pickaxe, a platinum broadsword to turn into fly meal to manually harm our NPCs once we have enough stink bugs, as well as a silver helmet and some iron chainmail and greaves. That's right, we're moving up in the world, one piece of mixed-matched armor at a time. Maybe one of these days we'll actually be strong enough to coerce Target into bringing back Food Avenue Express. Fucking cowards. Look what they took away from us. Fun, neon lights, exciting colors, wonderful smell of food being made, popcorn replaced by what? Blank walls? A goddamn Starbucks? Put Food Avenue Express back now. Consider this your first and final warning, Target. We decide to adventure to the right for a change, and in a fit of rage after finding another pair of climbing claws, we decide to go balls deep in the underground desert, when all of a sudden the painter moves in. What a delightful, delectable, dare I say fantastic opportunity for a new weapon. If you didn't know, the painter has a 10% chance of dropping his paintball gun, which is a ranged weapon that requires no ammo. Absolutely phenomenal, don't you think? We quickly hook him up with the average Bakersfield condo setup, right next door to the Die Trader, who still hasn't dropped our goddamn sword yet. While we wait, we head back down to the underground desert and I don't stand a fucking chance. I'm gonna be sick! It's just about here we simply decide to wait. It's time we have a weapon we can actually use to defend ourselves against the soulless deities that lie below. All we have to do is wait. We sleep the days and nights away, letting our painter and dye trader move in, get torched, then move in again. Plap, 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 get cremated, get cremated, get cremated, get cremated. After quite some time, we run over and see two delicious weapons ripe for the taking. Both our exotic scimitar and our paintball gun have fallen miraculously into our hands. It was very, very nice of our NPCs to donate their weapons to our cause. It only took a small and completely reasonable amount of convincing to make this happen. We revel in our new weapons, but are snapped rudely back into reality when we test them out on a simple zombie and realize just how horrible of an idea this actually was. We do little to no damage at all, and it's clear that it's going to be absolutely crippling beyond measure to take out any and all bosses if we don't prepare properly. Now that we have weapons, it's time to worry about something else for a change, being our armor, accessories, and maxing out our HP before our first fabled boss battle. So we make a elevator and get directly to work, mining all the gems and ores we could possibly find along the way. We find yet another mace, which makes me want to wring my keyboard out like a towel, then find a downright sexy magic mirror, which makes us want to put a band-aid on our freshly wrung out keyboard and apologize for our outburst. We find many more life crystals, shoe spikes, many more ores, a flare gun, which makes us want to hold our breath until we pass out repeatedly in a local Denny's, as well as we make a hook as a consolation prize, then get back to mining more ores, plucking our wonderful planet's resources for our own financial gain, getting more life crystals, another goddamn mace. Then shortly after being defiled by an antlion swarmer, we max out our life with our life crystals. Whew, that's one thing off the list. Now to 10 to the next 10,427 things on our list by getting overwhelmed and doing absolutely nothing in order to cope. Why of all places? Thankfully, through our adventures, we don't get frustrated one bit. We instead stay cool and calm as always in the face of frustration. It's around here that we realize in order to do more than one damage at a time with our pathetic paintball gun, it was mandatory for us to make ranged armor. So we take a quick trip to the underground desert to not only hopefully find an Extractinator, but also to gather up all the desert fossils we can to make some new desert drip. I'm of course referring to fossil armor. In our hunt for an Extractinator, we end up with an ancient chisel, a magic conch, which is certainly part of the cream team, a pair of Dune Rider boots, which gives us crippling shell-shock flashbacks of beating Terraria how the wiki tells me to, twice. Then decide to look elsewhere as we weren't having any luck in the underground desert. We seem to get everything we aren't quite looking for. Anything and everything except a measly, simple, goddamn Extractinator. If I find one more goddamn mace, I'm taking it out on my future family. Your move, Relogic. Your move. We head topside and see that it's in fact raining slimes. Seeing as we have nothing to lose, we give those gelatinous, jiggling creatures a ripe single thug shaker slap. Occasionally two if it has a lot of HP. All until King Slime decides to see what all the ruckus is about. No potions, no real setup, other than a single row of platforms next to our cannon fodder NPCs. Only one man with a victim's mindset because he couldn't find an Extractinator. One hurtful paintball gun in a goddamn dream. This was certainly a test for us. Would we succumb to King Slime's gelatinous Thug Shaker Ultima, or would the paintball gun be able to paint a clearer picture? Get it? Paint a clearer picture? It's because it's a paintball gun. Get it now? Smash that subscribe button for more jokes explained, you guys. Anyways, before I get demonetized and age restricted for no reason, other than that joke being a crime against humanity, we spray King Slime down with every color in the book. And see, we're not doing the best damage in the world, but it's certainly consistent. Having that said, we have no ranged gear currently, so maybe our weapon isn't so bad after all. The fight is like any other King Slime fight. Run back and forth, avoid his dumb King Slime toe-sucking minions, and keep attacking as much as possible. The fight certainly does take, how do I say, fucking forever, but is very simple to say the least. And to translate this for the Spanish speakers in my audience, este es un grito de ayuda. Esta arma es terrible. Voy a vomitar. Eventually, however, through it all, we wither his health down to nothing and emerge victorious for this video's first Epic Gamer dub. This calls for celebration. Certainly, an Epic Gamer victory of that caliber warrants a celebration so grand and exciting that it puts Gatsby to shame. How do we celebrate, I hear you ask? By looking for a goddamn Extractinator. We turn the world upside down, searching through any and all chests we could find in hopes they have an Extractinator next to them. We search through the underground jungle for what feels like ours. We search through the wacky, wavy mushroom biome. We look in the underground jungle for what feels like ours. We search in the underground caverns. We even look in the underground jungle for what feels feels like ours. I do not like the underground jungle very much. Everything here wants to hurt my feeble gamer body. Through ice, through more mushroom biome wackiness, through the actual tip of hell, through spider hell, we actually managed to find nothing. We get 2 fistfuls of nothing, 0 zip zill nada nothing, we don't get shit. And I don't think words could describe the mind-numbing process of traversing biome to biome, getting any loot that would be useful in any other playthrough that we can't use, but no Extractinator. Eventually we end up where we started, in the underground desert, collecting all of the desert fossils we could find while searching for an Extractinator that at this point I simply do not believe is real. This must simply be a sick, twisted Mandela effect we're currently dealing with. Maybe the Extractinator was just the friends we made along the way. It has been 3.5 hours. I'm losing my goddamn mind. Extractinators aren't real. Then it happens. We explode our way into a house in the underground desert, and what falls into my inventory will shock you. Viewer discretion advised. An Extractinator! We take the time to extractinate every single extractinatable block we've secured so far, leaving us with an insane amount of loot, ores, and gems, but most importantly, with a metric shit ton of sturdy fossils. That's right, your eyes and ears don't deceive you. These fossils are getting absolutely sturdy in a way humanity has never seen before. All the while, we make ourselves the set of fossil armor we were so desperate for a mere crumb of moments earlier, with no time to waste and with our confidence maxed, ready to be shattered at the smallest inconvenience. We don't even bother with potions, we sleep the night away and summon the Eye of Cthulhu immediately. We have Hermes ones to dunk on the Eye of Cthulhu with in front of the entire stadium. We have a paintball gun to use on our epic prank channel. You see, the prank is harming others, then getting mad and cussing them out when they don't take our prank that endangered their well-being lightly. We have god-awful accessories, and all of it's working in beautiful, harmonious tandem to make this battle go this smooth. We paintball prank our way entirely through his first phase at 1 mile per hour, then he's in his foul-ass breath second phase. It's mandatory at this point for us to throw Mentos as hard as we can into wherever that thing's throat might be, because the Eye of Cthulhu's breath is atrocious enough to burn our eyebrows and melt our lips down to nothingness. We shoot paint into its throat at Mach speed, take that as you will, and slowly wither its health down. Eventually, it catches onto our antics when we offer it a 300 pack of Listerine strips, and it attempts to mouth breathe on us as hard as possible. He's doing that in our face. Fucking yuck. We pinch our nose and deal with it the only way we can, holding out a blade until he runs into it enough times to finally crumble, granting us our second epic gamer dub of this video. We have 2 epic first time gamer dubs. Now that we got our hands on the Shield of Cthulhu from Mouth Breather McGee, we felt unstoppable. With nothing left to lose in a superiority complex we built from winning against arguably the 2 easiest bosses in the game, we charge directly over to the Crimson and break a couple hearts before building an arena, being interrupted ruthlessly by interrupting spiders. Interrupting spiders. Interrupting spiders. Eventually, we finish our arena, and with a pocket full of grenades, a silly-ass sword, and a paintball gun, we break the last heart and summon the Brain of Cthulhu, only wishing for the best. We attempt to take out the various eyeballs that swarm around it. Much like a Twitter post's comment section, the eyeballs resemble the 1,000 random mediocre memes that are posted under any popular tweet for farming engagement. They're in the way of what we're actually going for. Actual comments. Or in this case, the actual Brain of Cthulhu. The old reliable grenade strategy works fantastic. We're able to take out clusters of eyes at a time because of the explosions the grenades produce. And soon enough, we're left with one giant angry Twitter user who thinks arguing with other people online is a personality trait. Our absolutely pathetic paintball gun slowly does its work, but it's certainly not fast enough for me to feel comfortable in my own skin. It gives just enough time for the Brain of Cthulhu to get close to us, close enough to where we can see what the giant bastard is thinking. And I'll tell you all now, it is not looking good for us. We're withering its health down, but it's also withering our health down at a frightening rate. We get the brain all the way down to its last breath when... No! God damn it! His fucking health! Why? Why? At the last goddamn... We take this loss with our pride intact and not getting angry at all, moving forward knowing we did our best. This is in fact a game after all. There would be no rhyme or reason to getting angry at it. We tried, and that's what matters. Stupid. It's so stupid. I'm gonna give him a lobotomy at the first goddamn chance I get. It's personal now. Oh my God. God, why did we did our best, and we can't possibly fathom being anything but cool, calm, and collected about our loss. This was certainly going to be a tough one. We desperately needed to do more damage, but how could we? One idea was to upgrade our armor, which would entail defeating the massive flying boner Skeletron in battle. How hard could it be, I thought? We're in an open arena, fresh air, lots of room to dodge. I also thought. Until we summoned him, I certainly thought this would be a semi-easy dub for us until... we were running out of options rather quickly. However, we had no time to heal mentally from getting head to death by Skeletron, as this game decided to bless our world with disease-ridden, no genital-having goblins. We quickly turn our NPC grinder into a Goblin Salad Tossinator 9000 and hide underneath. The plan is simple. We wait underneath our Coward Pyramid / Goblin Salad Tossinator 9000, and simply watch as they attempt to steal our treasure by swimming in a lava puddle. That's right, this is the treatment they get. The reason being, because these absolute buffoons keep marching into Walmart or Target and stealing shit. Everything is locked up in cages now. And now, every time I go to the store to purchase a half gallon of KY, I have to get some poor old 80-year-old yellow vest senior worker to unlock the cage and hand it to me with a grim expression on their face. Things have been going eternally dark since Captain Gale Lewis signed out. Anyways, we finish up the goblin invasion, collect our spoils, and plot what comes next. A simple step we could take for maneuverability and better equipment is to find the Goblin Stinker. We search for him, longing for a tinkerer's workshop and rocket boots, then eventually find him bound and left behind as usual, with his wife likely happily filming a new scene elsewhere. We free him, make fun of him a little bit, then purchase both the rocket boots and tinkerer's workshop, as well as a handful of spiky balls before leaving him behind once again. We of course make ourselves a fresh new pair of Spectra 2s, mint condition, worn once, then hit the skies in order to find more accessories we could use, specifically the shiny red balloon. We find a Star Fury we can't use, a celestial magnet which serves no purpose to us currently, a lucky horseshoe which is actually pretty goddamn tight now that I think about it, and at long last we find our shiny red balloon. I sure hope no clown women come chasing after me. Oh no, I would be so furious and so angry, since I do not like clown women at all. Oh dear, oh anything but that. Hopefully no clown women. We quickly get back home and change the topic as fast as we can by making ourselves a white horseshoe balloon, as well as a Magiluminescence to increase our speed. We also see a flying opportunity to make ourselves something extra special. Stink bugs in the mass have been hovering over the beautiful apartment homestead we made for our NPCs. We quickly catch them and make ourselves a fly meal. That way we don't have to build our NPC to any silly little grinders for their weapons. No. We can now slaughter them manually and revel in the fact that the other NPCs can do nothing but watch. Soon enough, nighttime begins to fall upon us, so we make what little potions we can and prepare for battle against Smeletron, boner of the dungeon. We throw balls of the spiky variant all over the arena and summon him up for battle. We immediately begin getting our asses whooped, but we recover each time just enough to feel comfortable for one small sliver of a moment, then get the bone treatment once more. We keep spamming balls that spike on our arena, as well as utilize our paintball gun as much as we possibly can. Soon enough, we work down the health of his hands and are left with nothing but straight up teethy head, which will absolutely not fly in our book. Not here at WaffleTime Inc. No sir, no ma'am. With that being said, we take this flying bone through the spin cycle for what feels like 10,000 years. As we do virtually no damage to him, we take his health down one paintball at a time, until eventually we get ourselves an epic gamer victory royale all over Skeletron. We head immediately down into the Fungeon with a head full of steam, going primarily for two things. One being the Cobalt Shield and the other being all of the bones we could fit into our backpack for a crispy set of necro armor. With this being said, we kill every skeleton we could find and collect the components of their bodies for our own gain. We get an Aqua Scepter, a Blue Moon, a Magic Missile, and find the mechanic, I guess, which doesn't really help us then. Wait a minute. I know exactly what we're gonna do next. We head home, make a fitting crib for our mechanic, grab our fly meal, smile, and wait. The mechanic, if you didn't know, has a 12.5% chance of dropping the combat wrench, a weapon we've had the pleasure of becoming quite familiar with some time ago. Eventually she moves into her new home, and without skipping a beat, we spend our time painting the walls with mechanic, and not in a fun or cool way either. She unfortunately doesn't drop her wrench this time, but after being born again multiple times and suffering the same fate in the same place, she's certain to come around eventually. We thoroughly rinse and repeat this process. Kill the mechanic, get nothing. Wait for a new mechanic to spawn, kill the mechanic, get nothing. Rinse, repeat. Many mechanics later, and we at long last found a mechanic wise enough to bring her endless death by Stinkblade Purgatory to a screeching halt. Thank you, Meredith, for your kind yet humble contribution to WaffleTime Inc. We reforged both our newly acquired combat wrench and our paintball gun for safe measure, as well as some of our accessories for an added bonus bonus. We make a Deathbringer pickaxe with one thing in mind: Hellstone. If we were gonna max out our efficiency with the combat wrench, it's of the utmost importance we have an armor set that maximizes our damage output with it. We go through hell breaking pots, rudely interrupting the Sigma frat party, ignoring the entire trash bins filled with quote-unquote jungle juice, and several couches that you stick to when you sit down on them, and eventually find one of them was stowing away an obsidian skin potion, which, as you may have guessed by now, we used to go on an epic gamer hellstone mowing session, mining up as much hellstone as possible while our potion was still in effect. After mining our gamer hearts out, we pop back topside and make our NPC grinder back into an average coward pyramid farm to grind out the blood moon at hand, which we got absolutely nothing from. Wonderful. We test out our newly acquired combat wrench on a random Eye of Cthulhu, and see that it's doing a lot more damage than any of our other weapons. It's still god-awful, don't get me wrong, but a little less god-awful than any of the other weapons in our arsenal. Soon after, we make our full set of molten Gucci Prada drip. It's canned heat from the head down to the goddamn toe, and we all know it. We also take the time to make a molten pickaxe for all of our future mining needs, as Yoba only knows how many epic gamer mining sessions the future holds for us. We hit the dungeon in hopes of getting our hands on a cobalt shield to up our accessory game, and instead are greeted by a Muramasa we can't use, a bozo yo-yo, some sort of Hitachi wand, another goddamn blue moon, a urine generator, yet another Muramasa, and at long last a beautiful cobalt shield. We head home and immediately turn it into an obsidian shield and slap it on. Drip drop, ladies and fellas, drip drop. It's time to go toe-to-toe with a Karen of the Queen P variant. Generally speaking, we could entirely skip out on Queen P as she's not a mandatory boss. However, to get the witch doctor in, we must defeat her in a public screaming match before she harasses all of the food handlers, airline employees, and baristas in the world. We hollow out an arena the size of a goddamn moon, stack it with platforms, and immediately summon her up. How, I hear you ask? Simply by telling her that being in a neighborhood watch does not make her an officer of the law, nor can she create laws. This enrages her beyond measure. Full, red-faced, veins out the neck, nasty coffee breath shrieking echoes the jungle, and soon enough, we know it's time. Thankfully, while building our arena, we were getting our asses handed to us so badly that we started this battle off with less than a heart. But by some divine miracle, we managed to recover. Well, recover is a strong word. Hanging on by a fucking thread this entire battle would be a more accurate depiction of how this battle's going. We attempt to dodge a flurry of stingers to no avail. It feels as if we're constantly poisoned this entire battle, but we keep chucking the combat wrench at her wrinkle-ridden forehead and leopard print goggle-looking ass sunglasses. It's a tight battle through and through, but with periodic healing and dodging to the best of our ability, we managed to pull off yet another epic gamer victory. While we do feel quite hell yeah brother about that battle, as it was a close one without a doubt, we also can't help but feel a lingering fear in our guts about the battles to come, because if this battle was that atrocious, certainly the balls of flesh will be a force to reckon with in this playthrough. But first, we had a brain to pick. While pondering over why in God's name we did the soulless challenge, the witch doctor moves in, so without a moment to spare we immediately buy an imbuing station, as well as a blowgun, which will be an absolute godsend in the near future. This of course should only be accompanied with poison darts at this stage of the game, so we make a staggering 1,400 of them for safe measure. We make some flasks of fire and decide to test out our newfound might against the Brain of Cthulhu for round 2. This way we can see truly how far we've— My own grenade! Are you kidding me? Mother— Perhaps a small mistake was made in our testing endeavors by holding the wrong weapon. A mistake that we certainly aren't mad about in the slightest, but rather tranquil about. Everyone makes mistakes. Why would we ever get angry at such a trivial matter? We have another go and see that our weapon is working better with our setup. It's still complete ass, but it's working as hard as it possibly can. The true question is, will this setup work against a wall of flesh? Needless to say, we deplete the brain's health to nothingness in a short amount of time. Now that the Brain of Cthulhu is out of the way, all that's left is the balls of flesh. With our new accessory from the brain as well as our new loadout, do we stand a chance against a flying sack skin from hell? We test out our true full might against the Eye of Cthulhu, and again, this weapon proves that while it may be one of our few best options at this stage of the game, it'll take Gung-Near level skill to execute climbing out of the unwiped ass level stench that pre-hard mode delivers. With few things left to do in order to prepare, we throw a life crystal into fruit into the shimmer for a small buff, because at this point we need to take anything we could get our Mountain Dew game fuel covered hands on. With a full stack of potions, we create a sizable arena in hell to take out the wall of flesh on. And seeing as we already had a voodoo doll from getting our hands around a voodoo demon's neck earlier, we were ready to battle. With all of our preparation on deck, we throw the voodoo doll into lava and get immediately to work on Hell's nutsack. The plan is we take out all of the hungry, get in close to his bottom eye, and soak him in as much damage as possible. One small minuscule problem with that plan is that we are getting our fucking asses beaten to a pulp. We hardly scratch the surface of this battle before we're beamed from existence. Shortly after our defeat, we find Johnny Sins lazing about and have an idea for another strategy, because clearly our first strategy did nothing but get our salads tossed relentlessly. We continuously and repeatedly murdered the tavern keep in cold blood, all in order to get this bad boy, the ale tosser. We of course reforge it to Unreal, thinking the entire time about making the goblin's wife fall in love with me, then quickly leaving so their marriage and romantic life is never the same again because of how long it took to reforge this one single weapon. Shortly after, we turn an outrageous amount of our throwing knives into poison knives, simply to poison the wall before we throw beer mugs at the side of its head as hard as possible. We make a full set of Necro Drip, getting only slightly lost in the sauce, but soon finding our way after reforging. We try out our new strategy against the Eye of Cthulhu to see how it works. We're gonna get our shit rocked. This is not gonna be good. We try the same strategy out with spiky balls in the mix, and while it does look a little bit better, I was certainly still in fear for my life of the tentacle treatment waiting for me in hell to stroke me silly. Despite our grave fears, we charge down into the depths of hell once again and summon the bad boy up. This time, we see that the blowgun is doing a fairly decent amount of damage, but does not pierce through the hungry. However, when we switch to our poison knives and hit through the hungry, we do absolute dog shit, terrible, absolutely atrocious damage to said balls of flesh. We switch back to the blowgun, and lo and behold, it's doing more damage than any of our weapons have gotten close to thus far. The ale tosser fires in an arc, so it'd be extremely difficult to get a hit on the flying foreskin itself, but the blowgun fires with very fair velocity, so we absolutely wholeheartedly rock with it. We manage to get his health down well below halfway, but he manages to shrink ours down much the same. It gets closer and closer. We get him down to under 1000 HP and we deck out our arena with buffs and try again, certainly this time with campfires, heart lanterns, sunflowers, even a slice of cake to give us extra speed. Nothing could possibly go against us, we're too stacked. As you may be able to tell, our plan is working fantastic. We stick primarily with the blowgun, and due to its high velocity and damage, we're able to drag the hungry up and down, and shoot whichever tremendous foreskin eyeball they're away from. It's a fairly simple process, move to and fro, fire as fast as possible. This is the first time I felt joy in years. I haven't felt this excited in a long time, and it feels great. No! Oh my god, no! Less than 500 HP, we get shot by a stray eye laser in the streets. We catch a stray and get gunned down. God damn it! As you may be able to tell, we're at least keeping a level head in times of frustration. We're not blowing a gasket, but rather keeping calm and pondering what other options we may have for this battle. Clearly, the blowgun is working phenomenally. 99% phenomenally, if I'm being exact. Having this said, we charge back down to give it another go. Again! This time, and I cannot even begin to fathom why, but this time it goes incredibly smoothly. Nothing changed. We use the same weapon, we use the same armor, we use the same strategy, but it goes as smooth as butter. I cannot explain this. That is, until we get into crunch time. Then it's nothing but fire, sirens, panic noises, and screaming. Our hair falls out and grows back twice. Our nards shrivel up and fall off. His health gets closer and closer to being depleted, and then... Yes! God damn it, yes! Keep the change, bitch boy! Keep it! Woo! Get facialed, get money shotted. Get cream. We did it! It certainly feels like we just beat the game, but truly the pain must only be starting. Hard mode is now here, and we're here to show hard mode who's really in hard mode after an epic gamer dub of that caliber from our delicious loot bag we obtained. We got ourselves a clockwork assault rifle, which is traditionally great, but in the premise of this playthrough will look great in one of our NPC's inventories, as well as a warrior emblem which will likely transmute to be ranged. We waste no time in hauling ass to our crimson biome and entirely corkscrewing every single altar we can find. Today's forecast shows an extraordinarily high chance of palladium, mithril, and titanium, as well as a 0% chance of the dryad texting me back. Well, forecasts aren't always correct anyway, so it's probably a mistake if I'm being honest. Let's just she just forgets sometimes. I think. Well, sometimes we quickly begin work on building an above-ground mushroom biome for the ultimate Giga Chad Truffle to move in for our future weapon desires. Since when we manage to defeat a mechanical boss, the mushroom spear will become available, and that is a weapon we're painfully familiar with as well, due to our spears-only playthrough from so long ago. What a blast from the past, am I right? Am I right? You're damn right I'm right. One other thing I also know I'm damn right about is the fact that we'll need far better accessories than we're currently wearing. We need to increase our drip tenfold, so we hollow out a tremendous area, mining out the palladium along the way, and desperately attempt to grind mimics. We find a wizard who offers us magic blue medicine. We of course take them. I don't know exactly what their purpose was, but the effects have lasted over 5 hours and I have no insurance. Setting that project aside for now, we make a palladium pickaxe with the ore we've collected so far, and immediately grind for mithril. But while we're at it, we collect an absolutely obscene amount of crystal shards and make crystal darts to use with our blowpipe. Then of course, go on to the most tedious, long-winded, epic gamer titanium mowing session known to mankind, plucking all of it that we can find directly from the Earth's core, until eventually, we have enough to make a full set of titanium armor, which is made entirely of Tuco's grill. We of course make the ranger set, as we were going to be using and abusing this blowpipe for as long as it still kicks harder than a taekwondo master off of 12 gas station elephant tusk body enhancement pills. We quickly shimmer our warrior emblem into a ranger emblem, then promptly head down to our unofficial WaffleTime Inc. manual mob grinder to begin our great mimic pursuit. Through our trials of getting everything except the stuff we want, we see our crystal darts are doing absolute work against the mobs around us, giving us a glimmer of hope for the metallic battles to come. And through much grinding, we managed to get all of the components we need to get the accessories that would thoroughly and effectively drip us the ever-loving hell out. The accessories being the Star Veil as well as the Charm of Myths. It's become very apparent to me the mimics were just in great fear of what I was capable of doing if I ever figured out how to weaponize love potions on them. We of course reforge our gear before making a tremendous arena, capable of hosting our favorite metallic meat holder, Vice Gripper 9000, as well as Austin Powers' dream come true. Once it turns day, we spend a brief moment in the above ground hollow clipping the wings off of pixies, transforming them from glowing flies into glowing walks, and taking all of their pixie dust to, you guessed it, make the manliest goddamn set of wings in existence. After grinding enough of those bad boys out, we hit the skies and take out the rage of our wife and kids leaving us because of our quote-unquote gambling addiction on some wyverns to harvest their souls and to wipe that goddamn smug look right off of their disease-ridden faces. Gambling addiction, imagine that. It's called dedication. Ever heard of it? I shake every morning because of how excited I am. And realizing we got a giant harpy feather along the way, craft up harpy wings instead to gain respect from others, rather than be greatly feared by wearing the fairy wings, and exhibiting such raw power with them. Last but not least, we hit the underground crimson to grind out ichor stickers for their urine samples we can weaponize, simply by turning them into darts of the Girardi variant, posing a new and innovative way of bushwhacking our enemies. By the way, this happened. Whoa! Holy shit! No way! There goes my luck for this run. Mother of God, that was a happy accident. So there's that. Without a doubt, unexpected but certainly invited. With our weapon being mediocrity in the finest form, our armor being dialed in, our accessories fully dripped out beyond repair, and with all of our potions in our back pocket, it was time to unleash the metal phallus holder to wear in front of the other mechs. We spawn him in and immediately start soaking him in as much damage as possible. The crystal darts do shockingly well against the destroyer, traveling all the way along his fat, warm body and helping us deal with clusters of probes rather quickly. One thing to quickly note is that we are getting our asses beaten with a paddle. There hasn't been a single moment that's gone by that we haven't been on edge. And there you have it. Luckily, we're able to maintain a level head through it all, without hand-delivering our blind fury to any inanimate objects in our immediate vicinity, such as a desk. In a fit of rage, we attempt to take on the twins immediately after we spawn back in, and begin getting beamed directly in the temple. However, we're able to dodge attacks much more efficiently contrary to the metal phallus holder. We go directly for spasmatism so as to slowly make Retinator watch someone he's been attached to his whole life wither away. It is personal now. We dodge up and down so we can evade the attacks lobbed at us from the eyeball who swallowed an entire goddamn panzer. Soon enough, we realize our Girardi darts were working well enough to get spasmatism into his second phase, and we have no choice left but to keep firing. We dodge his flamethrower to the best of our ability, meaning goddamn terribly. This fight was most definitely an ass clencher beyond belief, but when we take out spasmatism and watch Retinator try to scream with no mouth, we knew we were on the winning side of this battle. Retinator tries to yell for help. We laugh because he can't speak. He attempts to shoot flurries of lasers at us to avenge his brother. We laugh in his face, masking the fact that we are hanging on by a thread. Eventually, though, we work his health all the way down until he, like his brother, bursts into a pile of scrap metal, which we'll be using to make chastity belts for all of our NPCs. If we can't have fun, neither can they. Seeing how great that fight went lit a fire under our asses in a way like we've never felt before. We actually did that bullshit with a blowgun. With this fire reddening our cheeks as we speak, we sleep all the way until the next night and jump immediately into battle with our least favorite boss, Skeletron Prime. The process here is simple. Use the darts that any Bakersfield resident would try and ingest in a moment's notice to inflict as much damage to Prime as we can, as well as take this absolute imbecile to the Spin Cycle Supremo. We take a nearly crippling amount of hits, but keep flying in circles around his blemish-ridden forehead to evade most of his attacks. We take a deadly amount of damage, but due to having our nurse nearby, we're able to heal and get back into battle quickly while staying entirely calm, not panicking in the slightest. Nurse, heal me, you fuck! We're able to stay very calm through years of practice and meditation, and clearly it's paying off. The process repeats. Keep gunning as much as we can, heal at the nurse, run for our goddamn lives, rinse and repeat. Soon enough, without destroying any of his various appendages, we see his health is getting shockingly low, and without skipping a beat, we take him out entirely, reducing him to scraps that'll be melted down and refashioned to be a variety of sizes of very specific kinds of plugs. And I am not talking about for a wall outlet. We have one last thing on our mind, and that's the Destroyer. We need to take him on, not only to get our one-way ticket to MILF Central, aka Plantera's Den, but also to enact our revenge for getting mechanically wormed earlier on in this playthrough. We intend on wearing the Destroyer before bursting into Plantera's leopard print-covered bedroom. We make a quick platform up high so the Destroyer hopefully won't be able to reach us, and deck it out with as many buffs as we can. This way we can deal with the probes while not worrying about an ungodly amount of lasers firing at us from the Destroyer's fat worm body. We summon him up as soon as a new night falls and get to work immediately by getting our asses handed to us on a silver platter. We get shot some more. We get probed. I don't know what it is, I don't know how it works, but once every blue moon, once every 7 playthroughs, the Destroyer whoops my ass like none other, which is precisely what happened yet again when we attempted to go heal at the nurse and realized far too late that she too has been wormed. With our workplace superiority complex reduced to rubble, we decide to upgrade our arena with a bath statue, as well as honey pools for added regeneration. It's clear our health and stature isn't cutting it, so we have to compensate for more things than one. There was truly only one way of finding out if our methods of compensation were enough to get a text back from the Dryad, so we summon the Destroyer up yet again and immediately begin blasting away. This time, however, we dash back and forth, to and fro, so to speak, between our honey pools in hopes of not only evading the probes that come our way, but also in hopes of maximizing our regeneration. Lo and behold, our compensator setup is working staggeringly well. We're able to soak the Destroyer in a lethal amount of damage while taking an occasional hit from a probe without worrying all too much. We keep dashing back and forth to the best of our ability, dealing with the flying booty beads that swarm upwards from the Destroyer. With more than a handful of close calls and honey dipping more than Prime Vince Carter, we managed to damage the Destroyer enough to begin feeling comfortable in our own skin for the first time in years, and promptly take him out entirely, reducing him to scrap metal, which this time will be melted and recycled into a suiting sleeve for our shaft. One that'll hopefully impress that of Plantera, which if you haven't guessed by now, is certainly next on our boss-crushing endeavors. Before that, however, we have a decent amount of work to attend to. MILF Central may be glorious without a doubt in my mind, but it's also unforgiving. We make ourselves a pickaxe axe, don't have enough hollowed bars to make a full set of hollowed armor for some unknown gobsmacking reason, so we cry about it only a small amount, then head to our truffle to buy ourselves a mushroom spear. Isn't it beautiful? Our first honest-to-God, real, 100% not clickbait hard mode weapon. It's alluring, it's arousing, it's hard mode, and it's the weapon we'll be using to take on the ultimate cougar of the ages, Plantera. We go down to the jungle and begin our epic gamer chlorophyte mowing session, as well as our life fruit jungle manscaping, as we pluck as many as we could find out of the earth when we could see them. We collect as much chlorophyte as our bedazzled Terraria-themed jean shorts pockets can hold. Don't get shit for life fruits, then head home to craft up a beautiful, downright immaculate set of chlorophyte armor. To make our drip even droppier, we shimmer the emblem we have into a warrior emblem, and for the first time, for as long as I can remember, I feel slight joy. No longer will we die in 2 hits. No sir, no ma'am, we die in 3 hits now. You heard it here first. Slowly but surely, we're becoming the beefcakes we've always dreamed of becoming. While we wait for more life fruit to spawn throughout our jungle, we use all the meteorite we haven't touched yet to make our waffled wood workshop into something new, something out of this world, something innovative, something alien. We make the Waffle Meteor Probe Lab, made from the latest alien tech bought directly from a Walmart installed on Uranus. We upgrade our crib script so as to let our NPCs know who's in charge around here. Speaking of wasting time away while waiting for more life roots to vor, allow me to briefly run something by each and every one of you. If Kendrick and J-Rock were in fact correct in their statement of money trees being the perfect place for shade, isn't it necessary for us to step our game up and make a super sigma ultra gamma male mob farm? You're goddamn right it is. We whip this bad boy up quick, starting by building the outline first horizontally, then vertically, gutting all the blocks, taking up space in our farm as we go along. We put a platform in the middle, make the top of a coward pyramid and smooth it over with pleasantly warmed coconut oil, then make a dank, foul-smelling gamer musk-filled room beneath for us to bask in. For the finishing touches, we add buckets filled with Taco Bell mild sauce not only in the coward pyramid, but also all over the bottom floor to make any mob who goes near it get the clenching in public debuff, forcing them to drop their items and find a porcelain throne to blow up immediately. Last but not least, we set up dart traps and voila, we are done! Now we have a place to sit and dream about Plantera's succulence while collecting cold, hard, unethically obtained cash. After waiting for what felt like hours, we run disheveled through the jungle, once again begging for even a mere crumb of life fruitacy, eventually pleading enough to max out our HP and have one extra for an Aegis fruit. We start feeling good about life, but remember there's quote-unquote influencers that make more money than all of us combined by being a nuisance and causing issues publicly, and our happiness fades immediately. We solemnly drag ass down to the underground jungle once again in order to fashion up a large arena for our beloved plant sugar mama. We deck out our arena with buffs, and with our new armor, weapon, and now maxed out health, we decide it's time to summon up the Lord of Cougarville. The first phase is quite self-explanatory. We go around Plantera in circles, occasionally stopping to admire the view, but certainly not for long, as the seeds she spits can be lethal despite how enticing they may be. Soon enough, after an entire serving of box wine, Plantera decides that we're for dinner, and despite not being entirely against this premise, we want to win. It physically pains us to no end. The inner turmoil we feel when our first instinct is to become cougar meal at the first chance available, but the wise choice is to win this battle is that of choosing between $10 million and true love. Nonetheless, we fly around our arena at Mach speed, leaving trails of mushrooms behind, apologizing profusely for trying to leave the leopard print temple after such a lovely evening. Her health goes down, we cry inside. She chases us, we long for eating a salad more than we ever have in our entire lives, until at long last, Plantera bursts into a pile of love and happiness. We naturally get excited about the loot we get, then realize we can't use any of it, and add that to the list of things we're gonna take out on our families and those around us in the future. However, we did get one crucial component to this playthrough, and that's this bad boy, which of course grants us access to the Lizard Temple. We throw our Plantera statue up at the old trophy gooning station, then promptly get to moving in every NPC that we can, because we're after something very, very special. The ultimate NPC weapon. The weapon we'll be using from here on out. We're after the Resonance Scepter, which has a 12.5% chance of dropping from the princess, who will either stab to death with our fly meal or burn to death in lava until we get it. The only issue being that we have to have every NPC moved in for the princess to spawn, so we get immediately to work. We have most of the NPCs, but some that we don't have are the pirate, the cyborg, golfer, and tax collector. We find the golfer who immediately dies, due to the underground desert to being absolutely unbearable, then quickly visit our second soulmate, the dryad, to not only ask if she's been receiving our texts, but also to get purification powder to get the tax collector, which we find quite easily. We kick his stupid cane over so he falls down and throw powder at his forehead so he's human again, then quickly move on to the next NPC. We endlessly slaughter mobs at the beach until we get a pirate map, summon the scurvy-ridden pirates and ride the event out, not dying once or getting angry at all in the process.
I just want the goddamn, the supersonic staff. That's all I want. I don't ask for much. I don't...
Not a second after we defeat the pirates, the cyborg moves in, which was unexpected but definitely welcomed as we'd beaten Plantera what felt like ages ago. We sleep until suddenly Captain Bullywart shows up ready to have awful teeth, horrible rashes from months at sea with little to no sanitation, and ready to make our town reek of hardtack. We don't mind this one bit, however, as that finally completes our infinity gauntlet of NPCs required to have our weapon move in, so all that was left to do now was wait. As soon as the princess moves in, we wield our fly meal and go on yet another epic gamer NPC slaughtering spree. We murder the princess in cold blood over and over again, all until she finally realizes it's her weapon we're after, and kindly makes a contribution to that of WaffleTime Inc. We now have the final weapon we'd be using for the battles to come, which includes Gollum, Duke Fishrin, the Lunatic Cultist, the Pillars, and last but not least, the Calamari King himself, the Moon Lord.
We get topped off by mana crystals, which I guess isn't the worst thing in the world to happen to us, then proceed to bone everything we can in the the dungeon in order to get enough ectoplasm to fashion ourselves up a set of Prada Spectra armor. We grind all of our Monster and Red Bull tampered hearts right off the bone, and by grind, I mean die relentlessly to the same mob over and over again.
Oh, no, no, no. God damn it! How am I supposed to defend myself in this hellhole?
After enough grinding, enough crying on camera and posting it to our social media, then giving vague answers when someone asks what's wrong, we managed to squeak out just enough to make some Spectra armor. Equipped with full Spectra armor, a mana cloak, and enough mana potions to drown a goddamn whale, we felt ready enough to take on the final bosses of our NPC Weapons Hellscape playthrough. That is, until we unlocked the front door of Gollum's Temple, and of course, in traditional, stereotypical WaffleTime weapon-specific playthrough fashion, realized far too late that it's not an ordinary temple, it's a... my God, just when I thought it couldn't get any worse. It's a god-awful influencer temple. We traverse our way through the first layer, which consists of the I have security influencers. These complete idiots will be violent, be abrasive, cause several issues in public spaces all on camera. Mind you, hiding behind the safety of a 7'2", 380-pound bodyguard. From shoulder-checking people in public to arguing with security guards. Getting trespassed from public spaces and arguing with the police. These influencers don't have a single thought behind their soulless eyes. What's up, Waffle Bros? Today we're hitting the mall, you guys. Smash that subscribe button. Excuse me, man. Jeez. What are you gonna do? Don't touch him. He can't touch me. What's he gonna do? What is this, man? I just want to get a pretzel. I'm not even. You can't do shit. I'll knock your head off your shoulders before you. Never in my life have I seen such high praise for such pathetic, wimpy behavior. It goes without a shadow of a doubt that it's mind-numbing to even believe people like this exist. I can't believe people watch and enjoy this content. I can't believe this is real life. Thankfully, we managed to escape the bodyguard cowardice of the first layer, but we're snapped back to a cold, soulless reality when we stumble into the next layer, which consists of the world revolves around me influencers. These influencers have somehow grown, developed, had life experiences they've learned from, and grew with people around them in the world, all to develop a wild reality in their heads that everyone should know them, that they're the center of the world and everything revolves around them. Let's take a look at this example I found. This foul, disease-ridden influencer who is definitely totally not just me being satirical.
So I just recently went to WaffleTime Inc. dining. I of course ordered a plantaira salad. It was phenomenal, 10 out of 10. I made sure to tell the owner that I'd be letting my TikTok followers know, of which, as you all may know, I have over 100,000. And the owner thanked me and got me more Madrinas Maple Bacon Terraria themed coffee that I asked for. Yeah, but get this. When I got the bill, there was no discount. Not even an appetizer or an entree taken off. I made sure to leave 1 star and didn't pay as I felt as if I shouldn't have to. But this goes to show the greed of corporate companies. No one go to WaffleTime Inc. dining. They won't be grateful for your services. I'll tell you that much. They won't.
How is this possible? How do people like this obtain a following? How do people watch this and agree with it? How is this real? These are the same kinds of people that get mad when people don't know them publicly, when they're quite literally unrecognizable. We narrowly escape to the final layer of the temple, which regrettably consists of the workplace terrorizer influencers. These absolute dorks will go to any workplace, whether it's a mall or most often, for some unknown reason, Walmart's, and be nothing short of one of the most annoying people in the entire world. Can you imagine not only going into a Walmart to pour beverages all over the floor, or to lick ice cream and put it back, but also to heckle the employees that are just trying to work and do their job? Better yet, imagine this, wearing a work uniform of whatever franchise you decide to terrorize on camera for internet validation, and also publishing it for everyone to see. Hey, corporate called, said, "You're fired, you're done, you're not working another day here, none of us liked you here anyways, you've always just been awful." That hurts. What's going on? Why is he filming me? Sir, you don't work here. You're gonna have to leave the store. It's a prank! You can't touch me! Thank God we finally make it into Gollum's Temple after the tri-tiered nightmare. Truly the Dante's Inferno of Golem temples. A wave of relief washes over us, but simultaneously we're in great fear. You see, long ago, during the biggest collaboration I've held on my channel, that got demonetized instantly, Chippy himself told me the rules of the Terrarian OG. If you lose to Gollum, it's mandatory you uninstall right then and there. The risks are certainly high, but we have some sexy new gear to work with, so what's to stress about? A pathetic arena for for a wimpy boss is certainly warranted. So we quickly make a single row of platforms, then summon up the tremendous, loathsome, puntable mud brick and get immediately to work, going right away for his hands with our new resonant scepter Thule. The area in which the scepter damages is enough to hit his head and hands at the same time, so we wither down all of his health bars with fair ease and get to the point in which there's none more than a flying head shooting beams at us, as well as a fat mud body jumping at us at Mach speed. We experienced the true duality of man, dishing out an immense amount of damage but taking a ridiculous amount of damage in return. It's a nail biter through and through, but eventually we managed to take his health all the way down for yet another first time epic gamer victory. We kill him yet again just to take out our rage from being in the soulless temple and simply to feel better about our own personal qualms. Then teleport back home immediately. This epic gamer victory opens up many doors for us. We're in the endgame. We have very few things left to do. But where do we start? We'll certainly need an excellent mount to take on the Moonlord with. So we head down to our local mushroom biome, aka Oregon, and catch a truffle worm to battle the fabled Dick Pisserin. With no time to waste, we make a quick arena, deck it out with buffs, and sleep until day to begin the battle. The first phase goes smoothly. We simply dodge perpendicular to the fillet of fish and keep blasting. He shoots his bubble guts at us, imploring us to not eat the Home Depot chicken wing combo, but we ignore him and munch regardless, ignoring Annie and all sharp pains in our abdomens. Soon enough, we're in his much more aggressive second phase, where he gets furious about seeing huge jug-wielding female Terraria NPC fan art on his timeline, but slobbers over beefcake-buffed witch doctor with the long dong lizard meat fan art. And while we are confused, we respect his artistic preferences and get into his third phase, which, as you may be able to see here, does not go well in the slightest.
God damn it! What the fuck? Every time!
I'll come right out and say it. Hot take. I don't like dying that much when a boss has less than a fifth of their health. We summon him up again and the process repeats. We slug through his first phase, soaking him in as much damage as possible, all until we reach his second phase where we dodge his Sharknadoes to the best of our ability and continue attacking until we at long last reach his third phase where we... I am losing my mind. In a desperate, sickly attempt to get past his third phase and not have to relive the same gut-wrenching moment in time repeatedly until we drink oil from a deep fryer, we take on Queen Slime a couple of times to get her to mount us. To get her mount. We get her mount. We try Dick Pisserin once again, and to my surprise, some light reforges to our weapon and gear made all the difference. We take out his first phase and second phase rather quickly. Then it's the moment of truth. Thankfully, we worked our way into his third phase with one goddamn heart. So this will be an excellent teller. We coast up and down and see it's working extraordinarily well. But there's one minuscule small issue. This is taking so goddamn long that it physically hurts. After what felt like 4 years, however, we actually managed to take out the roided up flying fish, meaning our true only and next option was to take on the cultist, the pillars, and at long last the Moonlord himself. Without skipping a beat, without going home to goon twice or perhaps 3 times, or even re-upping on potions, we head right to the Fungin to knock the big-ass nose right off the lunatic cultist. Oh, WaffleTime, that's actually a plague doctor type mask. That resembles a beak. That's not a big, giant, funny nose. Yeah, sure, and what are you gonna tell me next? Strawberry milk doesn't come from pink cows? Huh. Oh yeah, chocolate milk doesn't come from brown cows? Yeah, sure thing, liberal. Keep believing whatever they want you to believe. Anyways, the battle goes quite well. Since the lunatic cultist is idle when he's attacking, we're able to soak him in an unholy amount of damage with the help of our newly acquired, funky, fresh scepter. We again live through the true duality of a mage, as we hand deliver enough damage to emotionally harm our enemies, but also take an absolutely staggering amount of damage in return. Nonetheless, we keep beam blasting at supersonic speeds, all while trying to dodge his myriad of attacks in the meantime. We do terrible at dodging. We got that Rod of Discord so long ago and have almost completely forgotten that it was there, which is certainly a shame. But what's not a shame, however, is the fact that we're doing very decent damage against the cultist, well enough to achieve yet another first-time epic gamer victory Fortnite default dance royale. Truly, the only thing next on our list consists of the pillars, so we start with the solar pillar, and after not dying one time, take it out, then head to the Stardust pillar and completely cheese it, God, before decimating it entirely. Soon after, we take on the Vortex pillar, which doesn't make us upset or even feel a slight bit of anguish.
Everything that's a bug gets in my goddamn skin! and I can't.
We destroy it, easy breezy. No schizo ranting here, no sir, no ma'am. Last but not least, we head to the Nebula Pillar and pull out our hair several times over before crushing it entirely. It is showtime. It's time for the Moonlord, and with the Rod of Discord, and arguably the best weapon we could obtain at this stage of the game under the constrictions of this playthrough's rules, we don't just feel ready, we feel like our caucus is made of concrete. We feel unstoppable. We decide to utilize the beach for the big bad ocean so our mount could go at Mach speed, and within seconds, we get mutilated beyond repair. Never in my life have I taken an ass whooping this harsh, the only contenders being the Eater of Worlds and the Wall of Flesh from the Get Fixed Boys seed. However, we still have more attempts, and we still have many things we could do to prepare for the next battle. We start by killing a couple balls that flesh to get emblems in order to max out our damage output. We now sport a Celestial emblem, Avenger emblem, and a Sorcerer emblem. We're going buck wild on the damage, ladies and gentlemen. Soon enough, almost as if Yoba himself shed a tear upon our beautiful landscape, it begins raining. We make a small bed next to the nurse to heal at a moment's notice, and spawn the Moonlord in, ready to get to work. He spawns. And to avoid getting a Job of the Hand variant from one of his tremendous grippers, we take off as fast as possible, all while firing supersonic blasts at his various eyeballs. Our method is simple. We ride back and forth in the rain, putting the hurt on every single damageable component of the Moonlord, while taking advantage of our speed and riding around his laser, and healing at the nurse whenever we need it. One small hiccup that occurs in this master gamer plan, however, is every now and again, every 30 seconds so to speak, we get our shit rocked so unfathomably hard our scalps turn backwards. We do a good amount of damage, don't get me wrong, but by God, every single hit we take is Tyson's best hook. Needless to say, we get our faces rearranged in a way that even Mr. Potato Head would wince at the sight of. We are pissed. Seeing as we have 2 more attempts, we summon him one more time and everything starts off at a fantastic pace. We take heavy damage, of course, but also dish out as much as we get. We wither down the health of his various eyeballs, dodging all the lasers and moon explosions that we can. Simply grateful at this point that moon boulders are no longer here to give us crippling shell shock. We're able to deal steady enough damage to where we begin to make the Moonlord hold his breath in a fit of public rage so hard that his eyes begin to pop out and his heart is exposed. We are on a great beat. We're doing it! Then, as always, of course, as anticipated in traditional WaffleTime Inc. luck style, it happens. Our goddamn nurse dies. Needless to say, we were on the edges of our seat with 1 heart left. We had nothing to do but fire as many supersonic booty blasting beams as possible. It works fantastic. We take his health down steadily while riding fast enough to dodge the vast majority of his attacks. And then,
We can do it. We can do it. Come on, Moon Papa. Bring it home. What? What the fuck was that? God damn it! How? Explain to me, you sad, sorry, imbecilic motherfucker!
it should go without saying that the questions we had were endless. How did that happen? 1 second, we're driving 37 beers deep enjoying some Skinnerd. Then out of the clear blues, sober driving Eyeball McGee shows up to ruin our fiesta. It goes without saying I was feeling quite overwhelmed with questions, but kept a level head through it all. We stay poised in the face of great frustration and in times of unfairness as well, as we know we had no control over it all. Calm, collected, in utter zen peace.
It didn't even give me a second! I blinked and it was there. It didn't even phase in. God damn it! Why? Why in God's name did...
It's imperative we stay cool in times like these, as harsh emotions would certainly cloud our permanently stoic mindset in our final attempt. That's right, either we beat the Moonlord this time or we have to do the pillars all over again. By this time around, you all probably know I'm one of the most level-headed, stoic creators with a respected amount of mental solitude when it comes to moments like these. But I must say, if I have to do the pillars again, the carnage that will unfold on every object and person around me will be written in history books in the future. As soon as our nurse decides to come back from the dead, we give her Cranium, the MK Ultra treatment, until she decides to wise up and get in her home. Soon enough, after much waiting, it begins to rain once more, and without a moment to waste, we use our final Celestial Sigil to summon up the Moonlord. The stakes are high, but inflation is higher, so we pay $9 for a small pack of bacon and $18 for low-quality beef, then summon the Moonlord immediately. It dawns on us as he enters our mortal plane that this truly is the final battle. Either we lose and become an influencer because of our lack of gaming amazing skill, or we win and keep living happy lives. We move at turbo speeds, trying our damn best to dodge his plethora of exploding eyeball attacks, and completely failing at it. With that being said, we use the nurse as much as we can, calling her names every time she charges us an outlandish sum to heal us while an eldritch deity is flying toward us as angry as he could possibly be. We hone our attacks in on his top eye as much as possible when it's open, because the less phantasmal death rays firing directly into our urethra, the better. We wither his health down with this process, trying our damnedest to dodge. Making great use of our speed in this cinematic weather, we take him back and forth, and against all odds, manage to throw enough sand in his top eye for it to come out entirely. No more phantasmal death ray, we only have his gargantuan grippers to deal with now, so we do just that. Utilizing our epic gamer speed, we supersonic sprint down our hallways in our fingerless gloves, disappointing our parents but battering the Moonlord's hands in the process. Certainly a worthwhile cost-benefit ratio for any and all pro gamers in the mix. His right hand is the first to go, then his left, and soon we were left in the same spot we were before, on Victory Road with 1 goddamn HP, paralyzed, poisoned, frozen, on fire, and in fear for our goddamn lives. We try and make as much room as possible between us and the Moonlord without him teleporting to us, or even worse, having one of his loose eyeballs instantly zap to our location to defile us. His health gets lower and lower, our superiority complex at work over the Moonlord strengthens to no end, despite us holding the same position in retail, when suddenly, at long last, we see the Moonlord combust into eldritch flames, which indicates to us one thing and one thing only: we have officially conquered this NPC weapons only playthrough. If there's one thing I learned about doing this playthrough, it's that my opinion of Terraria NPCs are constantly subject to change. That's right, through utilizing the NPCs to their fullest extent, using their weapons, growing with them, learning with them, I found that I was not hating them nearly enough. There is not enough silt in the entire world I could pile upon them to make me feel whole again after this soulless playthrough. However, that's a later us problem, perhaps a problem for the next soulless playthrough we, for some unknown reason, choose to partake in. As with the Moonlord now being conquered in this playthrough, we've officially beaten Master Mode Terraria with only NPC weapons, which just about concludes today's challenge. Thank you all so much for watching. This video did take quite some time to make, so if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more content like this, as well as leave a comment down in the comment section below to let me know your thoughts on this video. Also, if you'd like, be sure to follow my Instagram and Twitter for future video and stream updates, as well as my Facebook page, where you can watch all the videos that get demonetized instantly on my YouTube channel. All those links are in the description for your convenience. Thank you all so much again for watching, and I'll be seeing all of you non-playable characters later. WaffleTime NPC Despiser Edition out.